Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Juniper Vale. I was watching Linda with Marina and Allie, and they mentioned Virginia Guthrie and how it was the anniversary of her passing, April 25th, 1 year anniversary. And of course, all that was in the news was the ballroom issues, the correspondence dinner, and I thought that was pretty sad. Um, as I feel like we should be talking about Virginia, honoring her memory and honoring the other victims of the e-files. So, what I figured I would do is I wanted to see, I'm working on mediumship, and I wanted to see if Virginia could sort of give us some advice or some intuition into the future about the e-files and Trump and justice. So this is for entertainment purposes only. It's hard with mediumship as you don't know who exactly you're talking to, and you know, these are tarot cards, tarot readings. I do my best to try to be as accurate as possible, but it's not an exact science. So I'm going to be using the Bright Tarot, and I'm going to be doing the Celtic Cross Tarot spread. And I'm going to ask Virginia, and to have my guides help me ask Virginia, um, what what do we see coming up in the future with the e-files and justice, especially in regards to Trump and other high profile people involved with the Epstein files. The Celtic cross spread tells us many things. It gives us the present situation, the problem, the past, the future, conscious, unconscious, your influence, external influence, hopes and fears, and outcomes. So it's a 10 card spread, and there's a lot of information that we did get from it. So, what I'm specifically asking Virginia Guthrie is to please help us understand what is coming in the future for the e files. Is there any way that we could help to get the correct information out there and justice for the victims? There are still victims that are going through this. There are some that have passed on. So, just want to get some clear advice um, on what to expect and, if possible, how we can help. How we can help further along justice. All right. Oops. All right, 10 card spread. First card is the present situation. Sun card. That's good. Second card is the problem. That is the Six of Pentacles. Third card, the past, is the Emperor. Fourth card, future. This is the Four of Swords. Interesting. Fifth card is the conscious. So that talks about what we're focused on, where our mind is. Hanged Man. Sixth card is the unconscious. This is truly what's driving the situation. That's the Six of Wands. Seventh card is influence. It relates to how we see the issue or ourselves or the situation. Six of Swords. Eighth card is our external influence, the world around you and how it affects the situation. That's the Tower. 9 is our hopes and fears. Three of Cups. And 10 is the outcome, the Lover's card. All right. So, how do we go about interpreting this? So, the first card is the present, the self. This is the current situation and what is now happening, current state of mind or current moment in time. So, in regards to the E files and Taterhead and Justice, right now we're getting the Sun, which is a very good card. This is shedding light on the issue. This is talking about good outcomes. And I think even though it's easy for the administration to put the correspondence dinner in the news and sort of skip the honoring of Virginia Guthrie, some press instead skip the dinner to honor the anniversary of Virginia's passing. I think that people are not forgetting about the E files. I think that justice is coming. There's light being shed right now, even. And I think that's true. People are not forgetting the E files, right? Even though whatever happens, there's always somebody saying, don't forget the E files, release the E files. So I think that is good. The problem is this is the card that represents what we're facing at the time, what needs to be resolved to make progress. We have the Six of Pentacles. So this card here, you could see somebody is giving out pentacles. Usually we have also this scale, and the scale can mean justice. So there are people that are in dire need of these pentacles. Sixes talk about social service. They talk about compassion. They're a bit more cooperative than the fives. Fives are a little tough. So, what this Six of Pentacles is saying to me is that the problem right now is that the economy, people are becoming distracted, not, they're not distracted because they want to be. They're distracted because the economy is going down the drain and money's hard, right? Paying the bills. You got to pay the bills still. It's not like bills just disappear no matter what's going on. They're always there. You have to eat, right? You have to clothe and feed your children. That's kind of getting in the way a little bit right now of people feeling like they can be proactive. So that's, just something that's going to be there because of the economy. And this can also, we see this person holding the scales and they're handing out these pentacles or whatever, right? Somebody is kind of in control of justice at the moment, and they're kind of giving out, small wins here and there, right? So I think that for the people who don't want to forget the e-files, they have a lot on their mind, which is understandable. But also we have this person of justice who's kind of handing out the small wins, but they're doing it very slowly. Justice is slow. So that's a little bit of an issue for us. The past is the emperor. So this is how, events were shaped in the past. And I think this is um, a card that pretty much says Taterhead saw himself as the emperor. He felt that he could control the situation. But this is in the past. So that's good. That says that he's losing control of the situation. So I think that's a very good sign. The future, this represents a likely turn of events if nothing changes. When we have the Four of Swords, the Four of Swords is a person laying in state. They're not exactly past, um, but they're laying there, not being able to move or go forward, right? Fours are about foundation, but they're also about stability and security. Since it's swords, it's saying that we're stuck, right? If we don't make any changes, we're going to be stuck. Things are going to be slow. nothing's going to happen. Right. Now, the conscience. Um, the hanged man shows our conscience. This reveals what is truly driving the situation, talking about feelings, belief, values. Um, Oh, that's the unconscious. Sorry about that. The unconscious is the Six of Wands, but the conscious is the Hangman. So this represents the goals and the desires regarding the situation as well as assumptions. So right now, the mind. Where is our mind located? Our mind is on the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is can be interpreted as somebody who is at a standstill, but they're observing, they're thinking about either what they did or they're thinking about how to move forward. They're stuck there for a little while. This is 12, which goes down to a 3. We're thinking of communication and openness and optimism, but they're seeing the big picture. So right now they're taking that time. The conscious is taking the time to see the big picture, trying to figure out what to do next. They probably feel from the Four of Swords that they're a little stuck at the moment. But we want to see justice. We want to move forward. The unconscious is the Six of Wands. Unconscious is the one that talks about feelings, beliefs, and values that perhaps we don't understand yet, but this could be a surprise or a hidden influence. What's good here is we have the Six of Wands. Wands are about potential for success. They're about energy. They're about drive. They're about enthusiasm, willpower. Six is again our social responsibility. We're leaving the hardship of the fives. We're talking about compassion, social responsibility, service, community. So even though we may feel like we're kind of stuck from the hangman and the Four of Swords, we have that willpower behind us for social responsibility and community. So that is a good thing. This is what people want. This is what they value. These are their feelings. These are their beliefs. So to get to the bottom of the e-files and justice, we have to have this card. That's very good. We're in it for the right reasons. We want to get down to justice and the truth. So the influence, this card can be interpreted broadly. We have the Six of Swords, so another 6 cards. So it relates to how we see ourselves and how that perception can influence how this situation plays out. So we see ourselves as on a journey here. Again, the 6 are the quietness after the 5s. Swords are that difficult situation, but we do see ourselves in the middle of traveling through this difficult situation. So we have this family on this boat. They're going through the water, but they're going through it, right? They're traveling. Right now, we feel like we're just stuck in this difficult situation because we're being bombarded on all sides by the news, by the economy, by the next crazy thing that Taterhead wants to do. It's all very exhausting, but we're traveling through it. We are traveling through it. The next I got is the external influence, and that's the Tower. So, the external influence, this represents the world around you and how it affects the situation. So, this may be your social or emotional environment that you're operating in. So, we feel like everything's falling apart. The Tower, everything's changing. So just because it's changing doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Because when we look at this tower, we could see this as the institution, the administration, the old guard is changing, is falling apart. It's stressful. It's not easy, but it's a good thing. But that's why we feel like, we're just getting by with the Six of Swords. We're traveling, we're making it through. It's not easy, but we are doing it. We are doing it. So remember that. It's all going to be worth it, I think, in the end. We have our hopes and fears. This can represent what we desire as well as what we may try to avoid because human nature is paradoxical. So, what we fear sometimes is what we truly have been hoping for all along. And we have the Three of Cups. So, the Three of Cups, the three is the Trinity, the body, the mind, the spirit, the self expression, communication, expansion, openness, optimism, clarity. Cups are about social relationships, romance, love, comfort, intuition. Our hopes and fears is that we will get to the point where we will be celebrating. And I think that it can kind of be scary to think about the celebration because you don't know what comes afterwards. So, say, for example, part of the celebration is that Taterhead is removed from power, but we don't really know what comes next. And that's kind of scary. But if he does get removed from power, it is a celebration. People are going to be happy about that. So, this is still a good card. I think that being fearful of that change is understandable and it's also a good thing because you always have to kind of think ahead and say, just because Taterhead's gone doesn't mean that everything's going to be okay. We can't be naive. And I think we're not naive. I think that we know that when things change, we don't know the complete outcomes. So that's one of the ways that you can think about the Three of Cups in this situation as hopes and fears. And then our outcome card, we got the Lovers. So this card summarizes all the previous cards. Given what all that is happening, what is the likely resolution? Um, and the Lovers card is interesting because it to me in this, when I look at everything else here, this says to me that it's a coming together of people. This is a very good thing. This is a six card as well. We have a lot of six cards, right? And six cards, remember, are about social responsibility, compassion, and community, and then peace and quiet after crazy fives. Um, with six cards, you are reaping the benefits of your hard work. So I think that's a very good outcome. This is saying that we will once we get through the justice, we can't let go of the e-files. We have to keep going. We have to keep mentioning. We have the power to do that. We're a little exhausted at the moment because of everything that's going on around us, because that's the plan. The plan is to make us exhausted, but we have to keep going. We don't have a choice. We have to keep going. If we don't keep going, nothing happens. We don't keep going, we get the Four of Swords. But if we keep going, eventually we'll have the Tower, we'll have the Three of Cups, and we'll have the Lover's card, which is a very good sign. This is a very good sign. But just remember, we have to keep going. I think I want to pull there's a certain card I want to pull. I have to go get a certain deck. I think the Work Your Light deck is a good deck for helping us work through difficult situations and to give us advice. So, spirit guides, Virginia Guthrie, if you're still here helping, please give us some advice on how we can make sure that we don't land at the Four of Swords. We want to get to that Tower card. We want to get to the Three of Cups and the Lovers card. We want a good outcome and we want justice. So, how do we do this? I have the ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. We have trust the niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? And then we have star seed. What lights you up? So let me go into these cards a little bit more deeply. The ever unfolding rose is the first card that kind of comes up in this deck. So the first thing that it says under Work Your Light is everything is going to be okay. Let it crack you open. So, this is talking about opening your heart. Make sure that you open your heart even when you want to close it. So, this is talking about compassion. It's saying that being human is a courageous act. You want to have a life well lived. Those are full of losses and tragedies, but also triumphs and adventures. So this is card is saying make sure that you go ahead with an open heart, a heart that has understanding, that has compassion. Don't be afraid to open yourself up to the truth that perhaps, as hard as it may be, life is happening for you, not to you. So remember that. Now is the time to go gently, treat yourself well. To wrap yourself in a blanket and trust that the mother has you cradled in her arms. So it's going to be okay, but you got to open your heart. You have to have move forward with the compassion. So trust, let's see, trust the niggle. So the ever unfolding rose is a confirmation card. The next card is a inquiry card. So 52. Let's see. So what are your feelings trying to tell you, right? There's the annoying feeling, it's inconvenient, it's always there, it won't go away. This is saying don't ignore it. Figure out what it is. What is your meditation? In order to open your heart, that can be feel difficult, it can feel stressful. Is there something you feel that you must do in order to help with keeping the e-files out there that maybe you don't feel comfortable doing? Maybe like if you don't feel comfortable with protests, maybe you should try it. If you don't feel comfortable calling your representatives, maybe you should try it. Of course, only do something that's legal and safe. Don't do something that's illegal. Definitely not, don't do that. But this feeling is the arrow that points you in the right direction and it shows you what's standing in your way. So focus on that feeling because I think it's something that will help all of us to really figure out what we need to do next. And we need to be uncomfortable in order to push progress. And then the last one is Starseed. Starseed is also an inquiry card. Starseed is what lights you up. So starseeds are souls with a double mission. They want to raise their own consciousness and they also want to raise the consciousness of the planet. They are old souls who have incarnated elsewhere beyond this planet. I think this is saying that a lot of us on this planet right now are probably starseeds. And we're here to help with that raising the level of consciousness. We're moving out of this old guard of boys will be boys or women have to be this way or she was 18 so it's perfectly fine. We're moving out of that way of thinking and we're moving into a higher consciousness. We're moving into more empathy, into more compassion and more respect. I think most of all that's what we need to do. We need to move more into respect. So star seeds, they innately know that there is much more to life and feel like there's something more and to get to work. So they can remain restless and they want to kind of achieve that raising of consciousness, that raising of frequency, raising of vibration. So I think that's something that we need to focus on as well. So don't be afraid to open your heart. Don't be afraid to try something that you may find to be difficult, that you feel has to be done in order for us to achieve the lover's card in the end. And part of doing that is about raising consciousness and raising vibration and helping those to also raise their consciousness and their vibration if they are open to that, right? You can't force it. But if somebody is looking to do that and you can help them do that, it's good to do that. So that's what I have here. I think this is a good sign. We just have to make sure that we don't get stuck in the Four of Swords. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep fighting, and we have to be compassionate. You know, we just got to keep going, keep being compassionate. It's very difficult. Some of us um, are having a much harder time than others, especially depending upon your income level. Um, do you have health insurance? Are you feeling well? Are you not feeling well? We're all in different situations. So I think a lot of that compassion comes from that as well. Just because people haven't gone to a protest doesn't mean they didn't want to. They may be limited in resources. They may have limitations in their health that they can't do that. So I think just being open, being able to, find something for everyone to do helps. So don't run to judgment, even those that you feel are against you. It's very easy to run to judgment. But I just don't think we can do that right now. We just have to be compassionate and we have to come together. Because the more people that talk about the e-files and talk about justice, the more likely it's going to happen. All right, so that's what I have for everybody. Thank you for all the help I received in this. Very grateful. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Please share the video if you feel like it may be helpful to people, so that we can get the word out on how to get justice for the women and get justice for ourselves. Have a good day.